work that we're doing here is not going to stop when it comes to these type of discussions. It's going to be for us and by us here on this platform when the media is telling us to look the other way. Your support is what helps us move forward. Join patreon.com/like it or not. Help us grow.
Like It or Not starts now.
Dang, I thought it was like April 10th today. I don't know why that came to mind. I had to change the date, but
good morning. Am I loud?
Yeah, good morning and welcome to Like It or Not, where we're free to tell the truth.
And not care who doesn't like it. Sorry, I didn't mean to be so loud.
No, but it gives loud because it's just the face of what looks like it's you, but it looks like your son.
Oh, it's definitely it's me, but yeah, you're right. Every time I look at this picture,
I'm talking about both of them, but I think we had this conversation already. But it looks just like Jeremiah, but it also looked like
Benjamin,
Baby Ben when it was just Baby Ben before Jeremiah came.
No, especially because Jeremiah has lost his 2 front teeth now, and so he's rocking around here. It's so adorable. It's crazy.
Kids are the cutest things, right?
I mean, yeah, until you got to snatch them up, but yes, absolutely.
Right. And people should be snatching up their kids. I mean, not in a way where it's abusive, but people should be snatching up.
You gotta give parameters. But they're cute until they break the boundaries.
Because then they're like, "Shut up, mom! You." Exactly. Listen, it gets crazy. I've seen it. The other day, I saw this baby getting upset. I went on a run, and I saw this child getting upset with his mama. And yes, they were. And while this baby was being pushing, I was looking, I'm like, maybe that's a dog carriage. Because, where I live, they have those things. And I'm like, maybe that's a dog carriage that the baby is pushing. Baby had to be about 3. And getting upset because he couldn't push from the sidewalk to this area that became gravel and was just, when I say rocking that carriage, only to see it had to be a baby that was 5 days old in there. And a 3-year-old parent was 12 steps behind, too far. I'm talking about that 3-year-old was upset. And the parent was just smiling. I'm like, there is a baby that is fresh out of somebody's womb in that carriage being pushed by a 3-year-old. And this carriage could tumble over at any moment. Left the baby carriage, ran back to the parent and was telling, get the baby carriage. The 3-year-old yelling at the mama. I couldn't believe it. I wanted to go reprimand everybody involved in that. But so yes, kids can be the cutest little things, but little terrorizers. So you have to put them in position. I'm not a mom yet, so I wouldn't know. But I do see people who are parents and what they got to go and deal with. It's crazy. But
it's a. I often wonder, why would anyone have children?
I want them because I want to see what it would look like. I want them because I want to take care of.
And I need to qualify that because I absolutely love my kids. But it's the complexities of how much you love them and how it just rips it. I don't know. It's like a nonstop anxiety-inducing experience, especially as they get older and they want to go and just be and live and do what they want to do. And it's like, oh my goodness, my baby. You got to let them go. That's hard. You got to let them grow. That's hard. And then you think about how crazy society is. It's like, wow.
That's the worst part about it.
Yeah, but they're cute. Especially when they're snaggletooth. It's amazing.
I love that. I love that. I think about those things too. And there was I have been somebody who benefited from the system at some point when I wasn't ready to be a parent. And now I'm like, you know what? I really want to be a parent. I'm old enough. I am in a place where I want to be, but here goes me, a little old school with it. I want to be married. And then bring a child into the world because the people are crazy. Partnerships seem to be something different than what I grew up seeing and all the other things. But I want somebody to be in the household. I want a 2-parent household that is healthy. Just because you have a 2-parent household don't mean it's healthy. But I want a 2-parent household, but I really, really would love to raise up a kid in a way that makes the internet upset because the internet is upset about Issa Rae, which I do want to start with. But that makes the internet upset that you worked hard to make sure your kid didn't have to go through what you went through.
Hmm.
I want to be able to give my children that opportunity, and not be. And I'm grateful for what my immigrant parents did for me in America, the best that they could. At some point, we were even living a suburban life, right? And that
Mm.
lasted as long as it could. And I'm grateful. I'm so grateful. We even lived a life where my clothes came from the thrift store. I still love to thrift to this day. To this day,
Hmm.
love it. So, all the things. But my child, I really don't want them to be a part of, a system that tells them you're black, you don't deserve, you have to struggle a little harder, nothing. I want to work. I want to work hard enough and get to a place where when I have children, there's no suffering. I know
Yeah.
there's gonna be suffering. Now, don't get me wrong. When I say suffering, I mean like in their living situation where I'm able to give them healthy living, insurance, all the things. And I know that I might have to work a little harder, but somebody worked harder for me way, way, way back then for me to be where I'm at, right? So I want to be able to do that for my kids. But I know the system is trying to work a little too hard right now
Mhm.
to make sure that black folks don't have that in
Yeah.
some way, shape, or form. So
That's the part, Rebecca. Is like you know, far be it for me to discourage anyone. I would never discourage anyone from having children and expanding their family, because it is and you've known my family. I mean, since Jeremiah, right?
mhm,
Or even a little bit before Jeremiah, and things have gotten so immeasurably more insane
mhm.
since that point, to the point where I'm like, I honestly high key respect anybody who pauses and thinks twice about bringing a child into this crazy behind world.
No,
That's
absolutely. And even speaking of that, this crazy behind world has a lot of twists and turns that it takes. Because with us trying, like with you being a parent, with me wanting to be a parent, with them trying to take away a lot of the innovative ways that people can become parents if they can't become parents naturally, them taking away programs and benefits for the programs that they have in place, that for kids that are not wanted by parents, they put them in a system that puts them in a system that keeps them in a system that keeps them in a system that keeps them in a system, for them to create narratives that blame the child.
yes.
And I don't like that. When it's America that does the child wrong, and
Mm.
they force you to either have these children or put them in these broken down programs systemically. I have a best friend whom I love. Shouts out to my girl. And she was taken away from her family by the system. She's
Mm.
she's an immigrant. And they took her away from her family. She was literally on a trip here visiting. This was in the 90s. She was on a trip here visiting. The neighbors said that there was some child in this household that doesn't have papers or whatever. They took her. The system came, and this is in the 90s, took her away. Her parent left, and she was visiting at the time. Her parent left or came to get her and couldn't get her because the system took her, changed the spelling of her last name, gave her a different birth date,
Wow.
put her in foster home, foster care, foster care, foster care, foster care, until a family decided to keep her up until a certain amount of time. And she's been in the system ever since. Right now, her green card is about to expire. Mind you, the system has had it, all that stuff. And right now, her green card is about to expire. They never gave her, they just told her she's just in the system. That's it.
Mm.
You'll be in the system for the rest of your life. She got a notification that her green card is going to expire. She needs to find out where it is. She needs to go get the paperwork done. This is all just hitting her right now in her 30s.
Mm. Wow. Wow. And
Yeah.
and 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 I mean, that whole story. I don't mean, they changed her birthday, her name, everything, and now she's having to deal with the ramp. That whole
She
trajectory is
doesn't
kind of
know where
wild.
her family is.
Wow.
They far removed her from that. Yeah, America did that. So what America is doing now is not anything new. It isn't anything at all that is surprising. It may be surprising to people who are finally recognizing at this moment that America has always had an immigration policy issue, because there were never really policies that were for immigrants. specifically black and brown ones, but they were always anti-immigrant since
Mm,
inception.
mm.
Um, and they're Americans or immigrants themselves. It's probably historically. Um, but I want to get into a couple of things. There's a lot of news that I want to touch on, but I do want to talk about first, Ben. How was your week? How was your day? How's it been going? I know that we did a
It's
show earlier this week.
yeah.
How have you been since?
It's going, Queen. I'm cooking. That's all I can say is your boy is cooking every day. I know, folks. I know I've been coming and going, and people are like, Ben, are you back? Are you not back? Sometimes I do a show, sometimes I don't do a show. But when y'all see what I'm done working on, not only am I working on some stuff that's like fundamentally transforming and groundbreaking, and like God is good, like God has opened up the universe and just poured all kind of knowledge into my head. But I'm also like preparing. I'm working with Dr. Mack on his calendars, the digital calendars. You're working with him as well with your voice, and so we're working on
It's
that at the
out
same.
there. It's
It,
out
it
there.
oh yes, it's out there. But we're going. I'm doing some commercials for him. I'm doing of some, just a whole lot of good stuff on that. So the app is out there, and I recommend everyone go to the App Store and the Google Play Store and download Dr. Mack's Black Heritage Day app, where you could listen. He narrates, and there's additional narration. We played some of it on the air. So go ahead and download it already, but just know that it is a continuous work in progress, and it's getting better and better and better every single day. So between working on what I'm working on and trying to meet the deadlines that sometimes you promise people you get stuff done by a certain date.
Yes. Yeah. No,
So
no, Ben. I'm glad
yeah.
that you brought that up. That's so interesting. It's true. Uh, the consistency portion of it. I actually wrote up something that even ties to that. Look how God works. That actually ties something similar to what you're talking about. Basically, it's about being consistent in this time right now. Um, you're not stretching yourself thin, but you got a lot of work to do. And people are wondering, are you coming or going? And you ain't never went nowhere. You're
Right.
actually doing work, even if though it's behind the scenes. It's the balancing act, right? And I actually wrote like a piece of my diary. And I was like, you know what, this is good enough for me to share. I was gonna share it actually on a few days ago when I was crazy enough. I was let go from my newfound work.
Yeah. I'm sorry to hear that, Becca.
It's crazy, man. And I was let go because of my work in politics, my work as a journalist. Um, and I want to read this with you guys, and then we can, go into today's story. Just want to get this out the way. But I wrote something called the Balancing App. That was the title. And I said, I've been feeling overwhelmed lately, trying to keep up with content, stay visible on all platforms, maintain a 9 to 5, which I've now been let go from, to make sure the basics are covered and still hold space for creativity. It's a lot. The truth is, consistency feels out of reach some days.
Mm,
I'm constantly thinking about what needs to be edited, posted, or planned while dealing with my own personal and mental hurdles. I finally invested in new equipment, which I'm so grateful for. But even that comes with the challenge of trying to figure out how to make it all fit into my beautiful but small apartment. I don't want to pretend that I have it all together. I'm doing what I can. And even that feels like a stretch. I'm not stopping though. I'm committed to showing up even when it's quiet, as you were talking about, Ben, even when it's messy and even when I'm tired. The platform, this one in particular here on YouTube, is important to me because it gives me space to share honestly without having to fight an algorithm to be seen. Thank you for
mm,
being here while I navigate this. There's more coming, not because I have the perfect plan, but because I still believe in what I'm building. So I had to write that out for myself as an affirmation, but it's funny because I wrote that right before I was let go.
mm.
The next day, I had been let go, and it was crazy. Interestingly enough, that was what I just got, and that was holding me down. Ben, you know the things I've been doing on the side.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, which
Like
is crazy. Like, it's hard when you get fired from certain types of jobs. You like, wait a minute, I ain't want to work here in the first place.
it's so crazy. I'm crazy because I'm here smiling, but immediately I thought, yo, you know, this is what helps me do the work. But I keep having these stories, and I'm like, but I'm not really bothered about it. But I do have to think about how I'm going to how I'm gonna like this is what I'm talking about. In order for me to be a mother, in order for me to like my life has to be in order. And when people are not seeing me or not seeing the consistency, I got to make sure, like I just came from a trip back home in Florida. That was me handling medical stuff for both
Right.
mom and dad, surgeries. Okay. That was me having to do the other things for them as far as paperwork, because again, I am a product of immigrants who don't have a full understanding of things that
Right.
are written in English or whatever the case may be. And for a long time, I've been taking care of those things for them. Mental wear and tear with all of those things. So I don't say that for again, I share these stories with you to show you the reality and of people who really want to do the work with their whole heart. And a lot of us don't have it where we are platformed and are getting paid for it. We have to have the 9 to 5 portions of it or whatever
Right.
to keep on holding the our line, to keep on being on the front lines. However, it does, also it's something that I know that we've done this and we had this conversation, but I don't want the pity. I want the assistance and I want the help and I want to continue to do this work. But, it just I don't know. It's all of that in one, basically, but it's a balancing act. And I want you guys to give people like Ben and I grace in these moments because Ben, you have been. I think you've been as consistent. Since you've came back, you've been really consistent. I know before it was difficult for you because you had to take a step back for your own mental health, for the health of your family, for the protection, for you to make sure
Yeah.
that your household is safe and great, and also figure out financial plans that work for you as well. You had to do that in a balancing act. So coming back, especially in a time where we transitioned into Donald Trump becoming president, and overnight, every single day, things have been happening that affect specifically the Black community. It's really close to our homes. And it's more than just a generalized thing or something that's affecting just women and things. It's there these laws or these executive orders that they're trying to force to become law. These things are affecting us quite daily, but we are wanting to do the work. We're here all the time wanting to do the work, and it's tough seeing people who are not serious about it be pushed and be able to sit down every day before you guys to give you pretty much nothing. But that's just, that's that's
Rebecca, you
that's
be
that.
Rebecca, you be throwing some high level internet shade, but I feel you because it's the truth of the matter is Black folks have. I know you didn't get racially specific, but I will. Black folks have always had to do 10 times as much to get 10 times less. Right. It's just kind of the reality. And yeah, this transition for us, like for me in this last couple of years has been extremely. Let me just say it like this. The only way I survived was like literally, well, let me not say literally, but let's say figuratively spending time with God.
Mhm.
I had to like I had to go meditate. Man, I had to get into the heavenlies and like I had to really ask questions. I'm like, God, what is we doing here? Like, how is it that the evil people are thriving? The evil uh, Black folks who barely Black, how are they thriving? And your folks down here who are trying to do your work, at least at a minimum, we're trying to be kind. We're trying to help. We're trying to, not hold anybody down. We're not trying to take advantage of anybody. In fact, if you want to go one step further, everything that you do, Rebecca, everything that I do, it's 100% about liberating people.
Yep.
And in the midst of our work, we have come through hurdle after hurdle, crook after crook, hustler after hustler.
To
I mean, to our detriment,
yeah.
to our financial demise. And as we try to uphold integrity, right, and not just going along with these crooks we've run into, we end up losing. And I guess ultimately, in the grand scheme of things, we didn't lose because in the end, we're gonna win. But like this last 4 years, man, look, I was like, God, you gonna have to talk to me.
These last 4 years, what? We did this during the pandemic, in the middle
You're
of a
right.
pandemic, in the
Oh my
middle of
goodness,
us
it's been more
fighting
than four
for
years.
Yeah, since literally the
2018 at least.
yeah, no, before that, because we left in 2018, joined back together right after
Oh
that.
my God, 2017. Oh my
2017,
goodness.
at the beginning of 2017. Yes. It
8
was, yeah.
whole years. Wow.
Hmm. Absolutely. Literally the beginning of Donald Trump in his
Yeah.
first reign as president. And so this thing has been going for a very long time. So seeing how people didn't listen, or seeing how it was, what is it called? It was very, at that time I was chosen because I was Haitian, I was exotic. That's what they called me, and I was a journalist. They ain't never seen nothing like that. It was like put
Mhm.
on in politics. I had to go through my own personal experiences of boot camp, Benjamin
Jersey.
Dixon boot camp when he came on, all the
Hey,
things, and not
let
for
me
the
tell you.
journalistic purposes, but for the political side, because
Yeah.
had to break out of the formal and come into this world where, because these things are actually affecting me, I can speak about it from that perspective instead of just saying what is being done. We got to start having calls to actions. That
Mhm.
was where our space happened. And I was just talking to Ole about this. I remember that space being so huge and coming in, us having millions of views daily,
Yeah.
people all in the timeline, people threatening our lives, people, the things that were happening there, um on those live shows. We had even call in at that time where people were just open to saying whatever, either disrespectful or people who were allies. And
Yeah.
that was in 2017. And was interesting enough, we thought we were like doing these things that were going to be seeds in the ground, and they were. But then we got into the next phase of it,
Which
right?
got even crazier.
It got even crazier. We watched white people get upset because Donald Trump lost the election. And the things that we thought that would never happen in this day and age happened. They took over at the Capitol, threatened the lives of our actual representatives, our leaders, um, they being white folks, not only white folks, and trickles of black people, but Trump supporters, the MAGA. And they were domestic, there was an actual domestic terrorist attack happening right in front of our eyes, funded by the right, platformed by things like Facebook groups. They
Mm.
were literally planning this in broad daylight,
Yeah.
and were not stopped. There were conversations that weren't Project 2025, they were whistleblowing. All these things were happening, and we already called it out years prior. And people were telling us that we were ridiculous. They were
Yep.
telling us to focus on the fickle, the smaller things. And then that's when I realized, in that time while we were battling COVID, we were afraid, we were in our homes. People, black people, had to go out, sacrifice their lives
Yeah.
because we were being gunned down by police officers. Yet we were being gunned down by police officers when we were calling it out over there at the first, and like it or not, in the studio. We covered so many black people being murdered. I even covered the fact that when they made the whole thing about Blue Lives Matter,
Yes.
to there's a whole story I did about that, and that was, people were like, "Oh, that's so crazy," but let's move on. The officers literally got together because Donald Trump gave them more power. The Thin Blue Line had came out around that time, and we were saying stop killing black people. Then Black Lives Matter movement had came out. And then they immediately created an alliance amongst cops and said Blue Lives Matter, and did a whole commercial for it. I couldn't believe it.
Mm.
All of that. We were calling it out. And you're telling me that years later in 2020, while we're having to battle white folks threatening people's lives, COVID, George Floyd, we watched this man die, calling
Yeah.
out for his mother. And then
Yeah.
Breonna Taylor, which was something that happened in the time before, that was kept like a secret, was brought to light that she was shot and the cops got away with it.
Away with it all, Becca. Then they
And
still
we
get.
were fighting for that
Yeah.
all at one time. And
Hmm.
so our minds we're going crazy. Like I'm saying. So in this time, in this part of our life, we're going and we're seeing this all happen, but we're still willing to do the work because we're like, we're still going to be here because this work actually matters, and we're here to do more than just pander to a
Facts.
certain type of people, or pander to the fact of we ain't got no, like we're just certain topics just for us to get a coin.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely not. Because if that was
Mm-hmm.
the case, I would have done it. I would
Right.
have did that.
Becca, if that was the case, all I would do is I would just, I mean, I know how to work the algorithm, and Lord knows I'm gonna have to work the algorithm this week because bills are due. So I'm gonna get out here. I'm gonna put out some videos this week. But as I put out videos this week, I want y'all to know I'm hustling. That's not
Yeah.
what I'm really doing. Because if all I wanted and if all we wanted to do was make money, I mean, there's been so many points where we could have either sold out to bad intentions of the people who were surrounding us. Like we were surrounded by people with hustle intentions, regardless of who it hurt. And they were disguised as progressives, right? So we could have gone along with
Mm,
that. We could have gone
mm,
along with that, but we didn't. And even now, like we don't go along with that because at the core of us is like, we communicate a truth that the algorithm doesn't like. And if
yes.
we were just to be quiet about those truths and only talked about politics as it nicely fits in the Democratic Party, then yeah, I mean, we could probably sit right now. But
Absolutely.
yeah.
And I think what people don't like to hear from these, I just actually had this conversation with someone this morning, and I was saying like, because I'm watching people. Ben, you talked about we were working alongside people who were pushed as progressive. This is also, thank you for bringing this up. There's so many points, and we'll get to some news in a second. But I think that this needs to be handled. The whole
Especially
idea.
in context, Rebecca, I'm sorry, especially if you do in context of the reason you lost your job.
Mhm.
Because I think that's relevant to what
Oh,
we're saying right
yeah,
now.
to make it clear, the reason I lost my job is because the work that I do. The place that I worked for, and that that had nothing to do with nothing. Um, I work for people who are Trump supporters. Not the business itself, but the boss. Not only I challenged them. This is what happened the day I was let go. I challenged the person on their practices. See, here go me over there.
Mm,
The practices were they weren't good.
mm-hmm,
And I was in the meeting and I called it out.
mm,
And right before that meeting, I was called out by name for the second time, and I had written an email to my boss for I checked in with you about my mental health, and I said that before these meetings, please let me know before you are placing my name out there for any reason, so I can eat like so I know what's going to happen before these meetings. Every time I'm coming into these meetings, this and that the other. And then I challenged them in that same meeting about their practices, about their way of doing things that are very um, deceptive.
mm-hmm.
And they target, once again, a certain type of people. And I said this in the meeting immediately after. I was told, because of the work that I do on, it's, I have to be let go.
They found you on the internet.
They've been found me on the internet. They were waiting for a moment, and
Mm.
like my camera, they were waiting for a moment
There you go.
and that's what they chose. And
Right.
so while I change my battery, Ben, you can go ahead, because I want to actually talk about, you pointed out the progressive movement, and
Yeah.
I want to talk about how we went from it actually being a movement to it dying down,
Mm-hmm.
and where we are today, because I want to talk about how progressive and left, being a person on the left, has become very performative instead
Mm.
of actually doing the work. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, no. I mean, so hang on, I'm trying to get something. Oh, David, are you still here? Because the screen is going on and off. I thought you were gone. But anyway, in terms of that, Rebecca, because one, actually, I got to start back here. It's crazy. It's crazy that you ran into that situation on your job. But if I'm going to keep it 100, over the last 4 years, as much as I locked in and focused in on what God was having me to do, I also was like, I got to take care of my kids. So I was applying everywhere. I was applying for jobs everywhere. I even went back and applied to a job with a company that I absolutely love, still respect and love them, but they said no too. And, and I realized, I'm like, once you cross a certain threshold of commentary on the internet, you can almost hang it up, right?
Yes.
Especially if you're not nicely within the whatever's mainstream at that time. And what's mainstream at the time, as we were, the last couple of years, it was a combination of Donald Trumpism a little bit, but resistance to Donald Trump mainly, and the Democrats and standard Democrat talking points. And if you go outside of that parameter, then it's going to be hard for you to, one, get the algorithm traction as well as to get work. But even more
Mhm.
so now, we're living in a different time totally now, where if you are not loyal to MAGA and your boss is, oh yeah, you could almost hang that up, especially if you're out in public talking about that kind of thing.
No, it's facts. And they all knew people, of course, they know what I do. They probably won't see me on my own page. They'll see me on somebody else's.
Mm.
I'm grateful and blessed to work alongside people who have great platforms, big platforms, but people also know me from my work in the beginning of this whole thing with Donald Trump, when we were always going viral daily, from our first company that we worked for. But that was when, Ben, I want to go back to that point you brought up. That was when I found out that those people who have been the poster boards for the progressive movement, for the left movement, for the Black Lives Matter movements are not at all pure hearted.
Oh no, it's
Um,
a hustle.
yes. And don't get me wrong, this is our work. Like I say all the time, you got to get paid and you got to do the things. But realizing that the people who were at the forefront really were curating this idea that they're doing the work, and the
Mm-hmm.
whole time they were not.
Mm.
The whole time it was just as performative as the people we were seating to be our leaders. Like when I think about actual leaders and fights, when y'all mentioned, when we mentioned Dr. Martin Luther King, who had his problematic ways, he was willing to walk outside and get what? Assassinated. His life was on the line. These people that we see today collect the coin, collect the coin, collect the coin, collect the coin, become brand ambassadors, which is good because trust me, I think it's great. But the performativeness continues. I love to see people glow up. Let's be 100% clear about that.
That's right.
When you do not have to look like what you've been through. If your work is allowing you to get paid, you good hearted, and you done moved on up, I love to see it. And nobody who's watching us and supporting us should want us to stay at a place where it's like, I was just coming on heels for the fights. No, we we doing the work. We gotta fight. We gotta, like I love a good glow up on that. But then we're watching people we clearly are not when they aren't making the money, they begin to pander. They have to start shucking and jiving, switching up verbiage, making things real general. And then they stop doing the work altogether. But still are the people who are called to the front line in the fight. And somebody that we used to work with or alongside something that you actually were heading and I was a part of, blessed to be a part of, that never saw the light of day in
Whew.
that version.
Let's keep
I
it
think
100. The North Star. Come on, come on.
The North
We
Star,
yeah,
which
yeah.
I was just told, bro, Ben, I was just told that the North Star has made its way. It has like a platform on behind a paywall. Um and I said, wow. The North Star is behind the paywall. And I don't
Yeah.
know, I think it's on Patreon. I don't want to get that wrong, but it is behind the paywall where he does it like a podcast or something. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
sure. But to use a formula he never came up with. This is what I'm trying to say. I
Mm-hmm.
watched you make that thing from scratch. I saw you in the documentation. You sent it over to me. The idea. what you did, who you pulled in, who you worked with, even in the city, the drives you were making up and down the street
Yeah.
looking for stuff, how we repurchased the same place. You used the funding for good, at least your portion, repurchasing a place that literally let us go for doing
Oh yeah.
black coverage about what Donald Trump was doing in that time under Donald Trump's presidency, because we decided to focus while working for them white folks on doing black coverage in that time. They let us go.
Yeah.
And they left that studio sitting there. And Benjamin, if y'all don't know this, I'm telling y'all a story. This is what happened. Benjamin P. Dixon purchased it back.
That was pretty smooth. I ain't gonna lie.
That was like, he said, you know what? The same place that y'all had us slaving in, saying our stuff looked like BT, telling us not to do none of this stuff no more. He used the funding for good, purchased that studio back, had people in there, great people who were former journalists, people who had journalism experience, all the things, production experience. It was
Hmm.
high level. And we were having our news meetings. We had the offices set up. It was beautiful to see. And going back in there, it was like we were reclaiming a moment. And I was like, dang, Ben, I really watch you do this. You even contacting the original, the who's the originator? Let me not sound crazy. Who's the originator of the North Star? You
The,
contacted the
oh,
family
the family. Yeah, the
and
family.
made
Yeah.
sure to get the okay, and you did.
Yeah.
And you did. And that's what I'm saying. The work that we were doing there that never saw the light of day, never saw the light of day. And somebody else got all the credit for it. That
No, no, no,
pissed
no. Not all the.
me off.
Oh, see, I don't know how much of this I could actually see online, but I don't even really care no more. Not so much the credit, but the critical funding that was necessary for this moment. Can you imagine if we had a successful run over the last how many years since the North Star?
Oof.
And where we would be positioned now, but particularly, Rebecca, in the fight, right? Think about TYT. TYT is dead, right?
Mm.
They're dead to us. They're dead to
Mhm.
progressives. They are spending more time fighting with their ex employees and contributors than they are fighting the fight that needs to be fought right now. We need in this moment what we were creating back then. But and we're not reflecting. I guess this is the day of reflection and remembrance. And
Yeah.
I think these types of days and shows are critical. And I learned that from you. Right, we have to pause and reflect because
Mhm.
anybody in the audience right now who has been with us any significant amount of time, whether it be 4 years, 7 years,
8 years, yeah.
10 years, 8 years, Rebecca, and then like what I started in 2014, so that's 11 years, right? Anybody who's been with us in any significant amount of time, you've seen these changes, you've seen these trajectories, you've seen these outcomes, you've seen these ebbs, you've seen these flows, you've seen us be successful, you've seen us lose everything in real time, live on air, even our minds.
Lose our
So it's important for us to remember this because when and as God starts dropping and opening the doors that will elevate us and amplify us to obscene levels of influence, and it's not influence for it's neither one of us want to be famous for fame. Like I'm just as good not being ever seen, right? Neither one of us are so interested in money except for our needs. Like we want to
Mhm.
take care of our families. What
Yep.
we're interested in is the fight
Yeah.
and progress. And anybody who's been with us this long, they'll know and they'll see. And we want y'all to keep riding with us, right? Like
Yep.
we are not the type. If we were the type of people who, when we got money, we changed, then we wouldn't even be in the situation we were in because we'll still be getting money. We'll still
Mhm.
be out there getting the bag. And so
Mhm.
we're here for a specific reason. We're here for a specific fight. And so we got to, you and I, even as a duo, as a team, like we have to slide. I mean, and we're not forgetting DJ Exclusive because he's been an integral part of this, especially since the beginning of the pandemic when we relaunched, like it or not. But just as a team, like we're both grounded in the fight above our own personal financial interests. And that's going to turn around because I think that pays off. Those were seeds that we were planting.
Yeah. No, and I think the remembrance is what, like, even the other day when I had that call or that meeting where they let me go. I went back into remembrance. I said, that's because no matter what I do outside of this, no matter how far I try to run outside of this, the purpose, I cannot put that somewhere else. Um, I have this is why it's burning in my heart to do this type of work, not because I want to be viral. I've been that. Not to toot my own horn, but we've been that. We had times where it was a very difficult time to become black people in the space to even have millions of views in 2017, 2018. What a time, right? And we were pushing that. Thank God that we built that place and helped them get the numbers because they was dry without us. The people that they had before. Remember Ben when it first started with the people, it was like, this is so white. And no offense to that. But I say that to say, because I was there, I was able to see and understand what you were trying to, or what you essentially taught me. And that was, girl, how is this affecting you? Do you not see how this is affecting you? You need to talk about that. This affects you. And you being you being a younger millennial, you got everybody they can't process what's really happening. They just think their days are going to be the same and nothing's going to affect them and da 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 da. But this is what's going to happen. And when I realized that part of it, and when I realized that there are people who are leading this with us who claim that they are allies, but they are not, they just getting the check. They're pandering to a certain kind of people. They switch up their verbiage. Some people, like, for instance, they'll stand in America. We have to understand, even the people that we see right now who we love, who are politicians, they're politicians.
That's
Don't
right.
forget it. So when we're expecting, somebody had posted something about, oh, well, don't forget that Joe Biden did this and that and that.
We ain't never been no fans of Joe.
We ain't never been, every day on one of my first appearances on Rising on the Hill. That was the first thing I talked about was Title 42 and how that was put in place. And Donald Trump used it, and Joe Biden said, "Shoot, let me
Let's
hold
keep it.
that real
Yeah.
quick." But what is the reason that on today, April 12th, 2025, people are trying to grasp for straws about the Biden administration when we are living in hell with Donald Trump every single day? We don't have to say, oh my gosh, so they did it too. They did it too. They did it too. I'm watching people like, you doing that is doing what? Are you trying to say that Donald Trump was just as bad? No, Donald Trump is worse. We need to stay right here with it.
Yes.
We need to stay right here with it. Stop trying to be like, well, they did. We know that they did it too. Politicians, presidents, everybody got blood on their hands. I'm watching people I love create brands off of stuff. Say problematic things every day. Well, I wouldn't say people I love, but people I am proud of. Black women in these spaces as politicians, congresswomen, all the things. We talked about how cringy Jasmine Crockett was not too long ago. We're not afraid to do that. But does that make Donald Trump any less of who he is, or the right, or the conservative Congress people softer? Or like, no, these people are real. They're worse. They will bury you alive. They don't care about you, your family, your job, your health care. They don't care if you live to see the next minute. So that's why I say I'm seeing a lot of people who are supposed to be the progressives and the pander. They will switch up their verbiage so quick. That's why I will say I had if people who didn't vote because they held their vote, fine. But people who were on both sides of the fence, giving me this today and giving me this tomorrow, depending on what their audience wanted to hear, that was problematic for me. Some of these people who are in this space, who are at the DNC inside taking pictures with people, but also outside taking pictures with the protesters, that was very strange to me.
Which one? Bring me back. Give me, that one's. Help me recall that.
There was. I don't want to call the person out, but there was somebody who was, at the DNC who was pushing, that they shouldn't be held in the DNC.
No,
The,
no, I'm
the
sorry. What year? Give me the year, and that'll help me. Which
this past
this past
year,
one? Okay, I'm with you
this
now. All right,
past
go for it.
year, I'm
Yeah.
saying to say over the years, I'm just watching so much flipping. I'm seeing so much of the stress happening. Like I'm seeing so much of the breaking happening amongst what's we're supposed to be together. We're never together. The left ain't a thing, progressives ain't a thing. All of that was an idea. And I think it was a popular idea when we first came out during the like it or not in the first thing. The progressive idea was beautiful, but Ben, you have it and it's genuine from your heart. But then there are people who pushed it because
It
it
was
was
convenient.
popular.
And
Remember, we used to
mhm,
call it the resistance,
yep.
the resistance, the fight. And then when that died down, it became a whole nother thing. It's like we just tattoo a name on it, and then we're outside and we're looking for, and the left is looking for this idea that, and it's not all the left, but the left is it's just the problem in its whole framing, because nobody right now really wants to do the actual fight. It's algorithm, it's picture
Mm,
taking, it's like nobody is willing to do. It's like you gotta be popular, and you
mm,
gotta and if you're not popular, you gotta bend it a little bit and pander a little bit and not really choose a side to stick with it, even when everybody may not like it. That's okay. I think that's what progressive means. We may not all have the same thinking, but we're still on the same team in some way, shape, or form. But these people pander almost where it becomes very um counterproductive.
mhm.
And you'll sit there and you'll watch these people. The, it's a problem. I'm watching it. I'm hearing conversations. I'm literally watching people get upset at the smallest things and not really see that your verbiage about Donald Trump right now to people is making them think that they're not going to vote in this next election as well. Let me not care about what's going to happen for the next 4 years, because it'll still be just as bad.
Oh, you're talking about, oh, see, now this is something that, if you don't mind me jumping in here, because
Go ahead.
this is something that's a little bit triggering, and I'm hearing you piece it together, right? So there's a subset of people on the left in the progressive spaces who like to, number one, and who this is nuanced, and I hope the audience, and I know you guys can follow along with us, but I just want to make sure I state it all. Number one, we ain't no fans of Joe Biden. I got to start there. I voted for the man because I prefer what we don't have, what we I prefer what we could have had, not what we currently have. We look at what
Mhm.
Donald Trump is doing, and you ask me why I would have voted for Kamala Harris. Well, I vote for Kamala Harris for several reasons, in addition to and above the fact that she wasn't Joe Biden. But if we're gonna go back to Joe Biden, and not neither one of us on this show a fan of him. And one thing I am frustrated with is the number of people, like you said, who are still trying to do two things. Number one, there's still people who are trying to cover for Joe Biden. And why are we even talking about him? He's gone. Let him be gone. We ain't got to celebrate him. We ain't got. I will always remember what he did in Gaza. Number two, you cannot tell me that what we are in right now is not immeasurably worse. Joe Biden committed the genocide of Gaza, right? What Donald Trump is doing is destroying our entire capacity to fight back against the genocide in Gaza, to fight back against anything that's happening on the international stage, to completely and totally neutralize the ability of Americans of any class, of any demographic, to organize and fight, right?
Mhm.
They just got approval to deport our brother from Columbia University, right? No, all he did was criticize Israel, right? And so we can't do two things right now in this moment. Number one, we ain't got time for nobody who's still making excuses for the Democratic
Mhm.
Party, making
Mhm.
excuses for Joe Biden, and we don't have any time for anybody who's trying to say that Donald Trump ain't worse.
Yeah.
He
I
is.
We have to be able to say that. And I think that was the problem. So I have like some notes here, right? That I had written down because I was going to do a segment about this, but I want to talk about this. The 2016, like the progressive energy, we know that it was a thing. Bernie Sanders, remember that, the whole rise, and that was like the grassroots people was coming out of nowhere. It was great to bring everybody together. I think that was where the genuine energy from us talking about healthcare. universal health care, all the things that people were scared to talk about before. We were coming together with that. They had a mission, and now it's less about the mission and it's more about the reality. We talked about this too with me in LA. Reality TVification. That's not a word, but now it's about that aspect of it. You gotta drop merch, do like 6 jobs to get your word out there, do a little bit of spicy clap back. It ain't even you, it ain't even your personality, but this
you
is
gotta
what
do it.
but you gotta do it. Like, it's you got to do it. Then it's like, I think when the left became, because I can't, the right has always been covered by, they cover each other. The left don't got that. They know they'll see they people and they'll be like, let's continue to push this person. Let's give them branding. That's why Candace Owens won't fail right now. She failed for a little bit, ran to us, and then went right back to them because they was like, no. Come on back, my good sis. We need you to continue to shuck and jive. Diamond and Silk. Those are people that came under the first regime of Donald Trump, and one of them gone, dead and gone now. These are the people that come on the right, but we have some of those people on the left, and I think it's the same thing, but it also doesn't work the same. We're seeing people literally before our eyes tell us that our eyes are lying. They kind of doing they're leaving the work behind only to get the dollars. We saw that when the Black Lives Matter fell apart. We were actually working alongside some of those people at the North Star, and we ain't never see them a day in our life, and they was collecting the coin. They was collecting a coin, man.
Come on.
While we were over there meeting every day doing work, they never met with us. They never called us, never checked in for a meeting. This was actually happening. So it sucks that we have people in these groups that really do not care about the fight once they start to see dollar signs. Because don't get it wrong. I'm going to do something strange for a piece of change in this space, but it's going to have to make sure that it does not dilute the work. It does not absolve us from holding ourselves accountable on how we are giving it up as well. We got to be very careful in how we, like, the right gives it up without, no, they don't mince their words. They're going to say nigga. And that's it. Us, we're like, Black adjacent, Black, non-white. It's like, no, continue to do the work. We need to make sure that we never pander to people. Stop it. I know it does pay, but pandering is what's going to cause us to have another 4 years where people like Donald Trump or his administration skate in. We got to do the work. This is what I was saying. I don't like, right now is not the time for us to have Sally online giving the damn protest, even though a lot of people didn't go who were Black, but giving those damn protest ratings because it didn't have a damn bounty house. No. So performative allyship has replaced the real organizing. I said this because corporations and politicians alike say that all the right things, and then they fund the wrong people. And then those people are voting against the real change.
Yes.
People out here, like, we did so much work for people's stuff to be put in the stores like Target.
Yes.
And all this stuff. And immediately, because the stakeholders didn't understand, if they support a little bit of change and positivity and togetherness, that will affect their pockets. That is the risk, but they didn't want that. So immediately, these businesses that swore up and down that they are going to finally do some change in America, put these Black people who will probably never have the opportunity to have this happen to them, but to put their stuff in stores. Now they're saying, you know what, nigga? That's exactly what we're seeing and happening. And it sucks. And people are saying, well, why don't Black folks just get together and do? Where's the money?
Mm.
They don't want us to do it. I'm not saying we're not doing, I'm not saying people are not trying it. Look at us right here doing this show right now today with 5 people viewing.
Yeah. We love every one of y'all.
We love all 5 of y'all.
We're so
But
grateful for every one of y'all.
it's like when we are in this place, and I think we can't call them out, that it's becoming performative, and we start just drawing the line, and we just have good words to say. Oh, Donald Trump doing this, and oh, that's why I'm not backing down on my immigration conversation. I've been talking immigration since the day I settled in that chair over there in that town where we did Like It or Not the first time.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
will not remove myself from the immigration conversation. People want me to let up on it. I won't, because you know why? This thing has been happening. Donald Trump has been literally saying what he was going to do 8 years ago. And here we are 8 years later. And every single thing he threatened us with is happening. Guantanamo
Wait.
Bay.
Hang on. Let me jump in there real quick,
Go
Rebecca,
ahead.
because that's the thing. Like, listen, I ain't never called myself no prophet. That ain't my bag. That ain't what I do. I don't think you ever refer to yourself as a prophetess. But it's not literally everything that we have been saying over the last 8 years coming into fruition. And I'm not saying this to say I told you so. I'm saying this to tell everybody, yo, you might want to listen to the folks who actually saw this coming years before anybody else saw this coming. And that's because, one, when you think about your position as an immigrant, Rebecca, like, you are the first to feel the impacts of this, whether it's Joe Biden or Donald Trump. Title 42, your parents, your family, your cousins, you feel it not only in that regard, but you also feel it as a Black American and as a woman. And as a woman, and I feel it as a Black man in America, and as a father trying to raise kids on a planet that they trying to destroy and that they spreading measles on. So it's like we are in these positions and we feel these impacts first. So it's not really, I say profit and all that kind of stuff. But what I'm really saying is those of us, like people in our chat rooms, I'm sure all of you saw this coming because, one, this is a working class show and we got a lot of working class viewers. And I know you all have been feeling the impacts on the, just like we did when we had to go sit in them unemployment lines after we got fired, or they shut down that first progressive show. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So, no, that's great. So basically, it's how I think some Democrats are using identity politics to shield from critique. They basically, like, you can't call me out because I am a woman, or I'm Black, or I'm LGBTQIA+. I don't like when they do that either. Some of y'all over here, just because I'm Haitian, don't mean y'all can't call me out on how what just because I'm Black. Y'all, I could be giving y'all wrong information while I'm just pandering, right? I don't care what group you're from. You can be a problematic person in this space as well. You are not above being criticized. So don't use it as a shield. Just because I've watched people do that, like the people at TYT. I don't give a damn white adjacent products of immigrants. Y'all on there talking about some. So now you want to mispronounce my last name and all this other stuff. And girl, please, you still wrong, because essentially you just call people niggas, and you literally just advocated for people to continue their, like, cops. I remember they were advocating for cops to do X, Y. They had some kind of conversation. They called Olay onto their platform. Cenk behaved just like Elon Musk that day, basically trying to trash Olay because of her stance on cops and saying that they were doing propaganda on TYT at that time. And Cenk brought her on and try and talk to her. Ridiculous. I'll never forget it. But she's a lawyer, so she can give it from a actual professional perspective. And they tried to handle her behind. You see, it's problematic because that's a space that was supposed to be progressive. And now here you are telling us that it's okay in some way for Black people to be murdered by cops. And that it's not always about color. See, I don't give it. I don't care. So that's what I was saying. These platforms become problematic as well. And they should not be shielding themselves because of their underneath the marginalized umbrella. Because you could be problematic too. Then I also said, it's all been, since we're here, reduced to a performative metric, right? I just talked about that. If you're progressive, you got to say the right things, but you don't really have to do the right things as long as you say the right things. And now it's like we're giving the progressive movement an all lives matter feel.
Mm,
And
mm.
I don't like that.
Well, see,
Uh,
that's where they think the new money is, and this is where we go, right? You go into the hustle for money, and you've been now. This is something you've been calling, and I think you've called it out even to my. I wasn't fully on board with you. You rejected DEI before I did. And actually, I don't quite reject it. You rejected it for a very specific reason that I think we are seeing in TYT
mhm,
right now. You already
mhm.
know what I'm about to say, right? So it's the opportunity. You called out the corporations. You're like, Ben, they just doing this for profit because it's popular now. They see what happened in just 4 years ago. They see 5 years ago what happened with George Floyd. They see everybody's on board, blah, 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 blah. And you called it out. You said as soon as it's not popular anymore, watch them abandon ship. And that's the same thing that happened with every single corporation that's ditching DEI. And
I
that's the
said
same
it.
exact thing that's happened with TYT.
I called it. I
You did.
called it. I said I don't like this DEI idea. It's not because that they're not. DEI is, first of all, not only they made it just black. DEI has been around. Let's not get that twisted. DEI has been around, but for some reason, oh, we woke up one day and they made DEI equal to just black. And that bothered me because then we saw more offices saying, put the man or the woman, the black person over there to hold down for us to do a checkbox about covering that DEI portion, which is the black portion, and they're the ones holding down what needed 17 people on the team, but that one person is holding all the work down for themselves. It was like they put that on us and it became a burden for us instead of actually making it feel like equality, right? Making it actually feel diversity and an inclusion. They were like, here, hey, we put
Mm,
that black person in a position, but we ain't gonna do all 17 of them. We're gonna put one. That's it.
mm,
And then they tattooed that on everything. When DEI was supposed to be for women, when DEI was supposed to be for disabled, and mind you, black people fit into all those groups too, but they made it. They had to make it the focal point being black because they knew that this day would come where they would make DEI equal not you just being black, but again, nigga. I don't like it. It's so
Rebecca
disrespectful.
Azor, if Dr. Mack is watching our show today, he is going to call you and he's going to call me for every time you say that N word.
I know. Sorry, but that's what that I say it to show you that's what they're calling us. And they're calling us with the ER, and I
With a
can't direct it.
hard ER.
Yes. And I said that DEI is going to be problematic because we saw what happened with Twitter during COVID. The CEO, the then CEO was like, you know what? We're going to make sure that we give the people who built this platform all of their flowers, and we're going to let them stay home, but we're going to make sure we have our black cultural Twitter space at the job, and we're going to make sure everybody knows that Twitter was built literally by black people, that the platform grew because of the black culture. As soon as Elon Musk got upset, purchased it, he did away with all of it. Donald Trump made it seem like DEI was only, and mind you, when they did away with DEI, people think it's only because of black people. They people were getting upset last year that pilots were black and saying because of DEI, pilots were black.
Mm.
It doesn't make any sense. These were what people who they were firing people in positions like I think I want to say it was at Harvard. There was a woman who had of Haitian descent who was the president. I want to say, was it Harvard or Yale? It was one of those Ivy League schools. And all of the sudden, they were saying that was a DEI hire. She was no longer in that position anymore
Yes. Oh,
immediately.
you're talking about hang on.
And
Uh you're not talking about the president of Harvard, are you?
it was one of them who had to step down because they did not want her to be that. and I'm trying to remember, but it's
And I'm
but
trying to remember it, Claudia, but I'm trying to remember if she had to step down. But I do remember quite
but
honestly
of
how
course
much
they dug up stuff.
absolute
They
hell.
dug things up on her. They made
Yeah.
sure that no matter everywhere that we saw MSNBC, a progressive, and I put that because I when I talked about it, I did this show. People are like, Rebecca, MSNBC is not progressive. It's progressive. If y'all see my fingers, these is doing air quotes. It's progressive, right? It's the most progressive space in mainstream news, and they hired their DEI hires when 2020 needed that Black revolutionary time, right? Where there was a reckoning for Black people, remember? And they hired Joy-Ann Reid. That's when she went on. They hired
Mm.
Joy-Ann Reid, gave her her own show. What's the young lady's name that I just
Tiff,
talked about?
not Tiffany.
Tiffany Cross. Yes, it
There it
is.
is. It is Tiffany.
And
Okay.
they had hired Tiffany Cross, as well as Abby Phillips went to CNN. But MSNBC hired these people and then quickly removed them, no matter how well they were doing. We watched TV shows get pulled, DEI, right? Oh, because they was putting them in saying we're diversity, we're diversive, we have inclusivity. I remember they were putting Netflix put a whole section for Black media, hiring Black producers. All of
Mm.
that was happening. And just like that, these
Mm.
same spaces that said that they would protect Black artistry, Black people, put people in positions that they never were going to put them in because of DEI, allow Black producers to create spaces and jobs. All of these things were happening. People were getting positions that they never would have got. And everything was rescinded. I watched people lose their jobs. I watched though Netflix quietly removed that whole area that they created for Black folks. Removed it. And people were fired. They were online saying, I ain't got no job. You ain't got no job, man. They ain't got no job. All because of this idea that I said they're not trying to celebrate DEI. Donald Trump does this thing where he plants seeds. We're talking about planting seeds earlier.
Mm-hmm.
When in his first reign as president, he planted seeds then, only for him about Haitians, remember? Only for
Yes.
him to come today and actually put stuff down in the ground and cement and foundation and start building homes
Yeah.
around the disrespect, around hate, and push out anti-Haitian laws, because America's always been anti-Haitian, anti-immigrant, anti-Black and brown immigrant, anti-Black and brown Americans.
Mm.
But we're seeing that he already put those things in his hate for immigrants was in the first. His hate for Black people was in this first. He made sure he never minced words. He might have said a little bit or let other people say it for him. Now today he's standing in places and saying it out loud and allowing people on his team in that administration everywhere. People who are your doctors, and I was saying this before, your doctors, your lawyers, right? Your bosses like mine, everybody now can be like, I just don't. You're Black.
Mm.
I don't.
And that's the crazy part. This is the funniest part, right? It's crazy, it's funny, and it's like, God, do you see this? And I know God does, right? But the absolute unmitigated gall of these white supremacists, these subpar, sub mediocre, and Neanderthalitic, sub Neanderthals. They're not even as intelligent as Neanderthals. These are the Marjorie Taylor Greens, the Charlie Kirks, this entire MAGA movement, the unmitigated caucasity, the unmitigated caucasity of these cave dwelling troglodytes to be free.
Only Ben. Ben, can you repeat that?
These cave dwelling troglodytes to be free to insult Black people just freely. No specifics, no nothing. Charlie Kirk's get on a plane and he sees Black pilots and he says, "Oh shit, oh shucks, the plane's going down." Right? This is the kind of time that we're in. Donald Trump has created a world where white folks are free to just cast aspersions on all things Black, all things brown. And we're in a stage in world history again, we're back here where there's a subgroup of white folks who think they are literally just better because they are white. Absolutely insane.
Ain't got no teeth and no corners, no health insurance, no health insurance helping them out. Now they can't even get they medicines and Some of them lost their jobs too, and they still out here toothless, jobless, and still looking for Donald Trump to help them out. No, it's true. Marjorie Taylor Greene. I look ever since that you compared her to that, Ben, long ago, years ago. It's like a cave person, cave woman. I've never unseen it. And then when she was walking with them sandals and her feet was filthy that day, I never these are the people that say that they're better than us. They sit around with bedazzled MAGA hats.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
how you working in Congress and your feet dirty like that?
Well, you remember that? You had to because you brought it up. Her dirty foot behind. Like, man, look,
these are our leadership that think they're better than us. And when we got people coming up there to the nines, and
yes.
this how you rolling up there? Look like you ain't even wash. We know that
you ain't
wash
watched the beat. Listen, let me address Ford 84 because I know I know 99.99% of our audience don't need this, and I know Ford well enough to know that they don't need me to say this, but I do want to say this. Of course, it's not all white people, but y'all got to get y'all cousins. Y'all got to get y'all folks. Y'all got to get out there and fight them. And to be sure, I have seen a lot of white folks stand up in this moment. So we know it's not all white folks, and we have white friends. Ford, you one of
our whole producer, white man.
Oh, yeah.
He might
No,
have
one of my favorite shows now that my wife has successfully turned me into a couch husband in that like 90 over the last 4 years, 99% of my time has been studying. But in the last 2 months in particular, my wife has got me hooked to Law and Order and Matlock, the new Matlock, not the old Matlock, the one with Kathy Bates from Misery. Absolutely love that show. And I love the friendship that she has with the black woman on it. Like we hope that there's a future where black folks and white folks can live in peace and solidarity because we just want to love and live. But y'all cousins, I need y'all to go get them.
Every time we try to live with y'all in peace, look what people like Donald Trump come and do. They be like, no. We ain't doing that. We got a whole immigrant from another country running things in the White House. And y'all just, yeah. And it's they ain't even y'all cousins for white folks swearing up and down y'all. They don't even like y'all.
That's right.
People, they look at y'all like y'all. That's why he's trying to take over so that he can now do what they all do, the original colonizers, right? Yeah. Americans they swear up and down that they're the best country in the world, but nothing really shows that they are. They just believe that. I will give that to Americans, white folks, the confidence. They don't got to do nothing. They just believe it. They say it, which is a lie, and they have that confidence, right?
Yeah.
White folks literally go and demand things, and it's not all y'all. That's one thing. You guys are watching this, and I love you guys for it. Mean it. Support the channel, give all the things, but also check your family members because you marry some.
Oh, I got something even better than that though, Rebecca. You know what they could do?
What?
They could take the wealth of the wicked and give it to the just.
And please, it's biblical.
Come on.
Do it. Like,
come on.
That's where while these, like, I remember a lot of these people back in the day were just giving out of their guilt. Go ahead. I'm okay with that. You know dang well your husband that you're sitting next to right now. Don't look at him right now. Don't look over at him. But you know dang well your husband, your wife, your cousins, and them are all problematic. And you funding all that stuff here.
Come on.
Why don't you go ahead and be like, just because, y'all, my husband ain't no good and I'm married to him, or my wife ain't no good and I'm married to her. Listen,
I'm going to redistribute the wealth to people who going to make a change.
There you go.
So for every cousin and people and friend and loved one that you got that ain't about shit, excuse me, I just got it, that are helping to destroy the camaraderie. Because listen, well, let me finish that first thought. For every person in your life that ain't about that, go on and contribute specifically to Rebecca Azor today. Specifically, let's put up that Cash App real quick. I mean action on this. I don't mean this rhetorically. I mean seriously. I want y'all to send. I want y'all to send $5 for every person in your life that you could think of right now that is helping to destroy the possibility of a future of peace and solidarity between all peoples and all races. Go on and send $5 per person in your family that's MAGA. Let me make it simple. If you got a MAGA cousin, send five. Now, if you don't got that kind of bag because you got a whole lot of folks in your family, just send $1 per each of them. And if you don't have that kind of bag, just send $5 anyway. Because my sister Rebecca Azor needs the love, she needs the support, and we need her to keep hanging on. There's a little while longer because Rebecca, I am pleased to announce right now on the show live. One of the reasons I'm not on screen is because I have been working nonstop this morning, and I finished the work during this show that I've been working on for 7 years, and it's ready to be dropped. I could put it on screen now, but I'm not sure that that's the right move. But I am ready to put it out like tomorrow and
I'm
Monday.
ready for it, whatever that is. I don't even know
Yeah.
what it is, but I'm excited for it. Can you give us a little, like, if you don't want to put it up
No, I'll put
visually?
it out. Listen. No, I'm gonna put it out there. I'm gonna put it out there. Your boy has been talking with a greater intelligence, and I have been receiving greater intelligence. And what I'm getting ready to drop is transformative across every field. God has really been. Reason I'm so public with God right now is because the stuff that I've been seeing and the stuff I've been working on and translating, I get it from the Lord, and then I go translate it with AI, and I'm like, holy crap. So it's exciting stuff, exciting times, and expect it. I could be because your boy's got to hustle. I think I'll drop this instead of doing videos this week because I don't want to do no more Donald Trump videos. I don't want to do no more of that kind of stuff. I want to really just kind of walk in what the Lord has given me, and I think it's going to make a way big enough so that this channel starts to grow again, Rebecca, so that we can get back to supporting the team that we had before. We were doing some fundamental transformative work with Like It or Not, especially during the pandemic, especially during the Act TV days when we had people broadcasting from the Supreme Court when the Roe v. Wade was decided. We had all those shows and stuff. Like, we were doing a work that needs to continue. So my expectation in the Lord is that the work the Lord has had me doing on the side for the last 7 years will become a funding mechanism to help
I
us
love
push
that.
back through media.
Okay, I'm with it. And I know you have actually been talking about your like you using AI in a different way years and years ago. You've been
Yeah.
talking about that.
No,
Um
I've and this is no, I don't. How can I say this without sounding arrogant or like me and I can use I can wield AI better than Elon Musk can build AI. I can tell you that much. I don't think anybody out there, and I say this with humility, I honestly don't think that there's anybody out there who wants to go toe to toe with me on what we can do with AI. And that's just today, right? Because as I start sharing this stuff, the whole point of it isn't about like how good I am. The whole point of this entire project over the last 7 years is about how all of us can utilize these tools, every single one of us, to not only make society better, but make our own individual lives better. So it's not about me so much as it is about, I was crazy enough to sit on the side of an ocean and listen and translate and listen and translate for years. Even when it got financially impossible to do, we still did it. And I just finished, like, literally, I'm sitting back in my chair now. I was typing the whole time we've been talking, but I'm literally done.
Wow,
I'm
wow.
done.
Look at God. I love
Yeah.
that for you because I know that you,
Thank
like,
you.
again, you've been talking about that for a while. I can't wait until it all drops, and I
Yeah.
can't wait, for such a time as this. I think that this was perfect for you. People might have, well, again, we watched you lose your mind.
You come on, you wasn't that bad. Wait a minute. Now, remember that night I called you? All right, so funny story time. Back at the beginning of the pandemic, I well, let me start here. Not that I have to justify my medicinal marijuana use, but I use it because I kind of live in a constant state of pain. I've been living with injury for the longest time. But in my increased intake, I called you one night and I was sitting in the car and I simultaneously, like, I saw what was coming. Now, you said I lost my mind, and to be fair, I wasn't exactly uh communicating to you in a normal way, but it's not what I said in that on that call where you said I lost my mind. In what we live in though right now, Like I
No,
told you, like I saw the collapse of society. I saw,
absolutely,
yeah, yeah,
absolutely.
okay, all right.
You
Don't
know,
make me feel
again,
like I'm insane.
no. It was just it was very intergalactic, and I was like, I don't know. I didn't know a thing. So I'm like, I'm already crazy myself. I was losing it myself, child. I was just like, I don't know, man. I'm just trying to get through this breakup. I can't go outside. I don't like people. I don't have, it's
That
just,
was if I got the timing in my mind right. That was the dude who was in the middle of the pandemic, sharing a blunt with a stranger across a fence. Is that the
yes,
same dude?
yes.
I never forget that story. You told me
You
that
know,
story, and I said the nerve of that
everybody was
Negro.
losing their mind. He literally reached over, never met this neighbor, couldn't see this neighbor, reached his hand over the balcony in
Grab the blunt
Atlanta,
from a stranger.
in the city of Atlanta. Because of the pandemic, it was early on. Because of the pandemic, he could not find a person who was willing to come and sell at that time.
Right,
And
but there
so
also wasn't no vaccines at the time. That's
no,
how early
there
it
was none
was.
of that. And he reached over and I was like, oh no, I gotta go home. That's when I was like, Lord, I'm just alone in this world. I just gotta be by myself in this world. And I didn't even mean because I didn't have a partner, but because it was a pandemic and I could not go anywhere. That was the only person I had during that time. Then I had to sit it out. I was in this home. I couldn't go outside because of what is the word agoraphobia? That yeah, so,
Agoraphobia or something like that. One of
agoraphobia.
those.
Again, it's my accent, but it's that. Definitely, a psychiatrist told me I had it. Couldn't do it. Didn't want to go on. I stopped going out anywhere and everywhere I could go, and inside the house was all I stayed in
I
until
mean,
I
that
had
kind of
to.
made sense at the very beginning of the pandemic, though, Rebecca. Like that absolutely made sense, which made what your boyfriend at the time did absolutely maddening. I would never forget
He
that.
put it in the middle, over there in Buckhead.
And then you had to field a call from me where I was like, I see it, Becca.
I was like,
The Lord is.
I don't know. And then I remember, like, I had called you crying, like, it's just all so bad.
Well,
It was, I'm telling you, people were losing their minds. People were losing their minds. So let's not get it twisted. So in moments where we're trying to do a balancing act right now, we're trying to, a lot of us have recalibrated, but coming back into politics, working in politics after recalibration, it's a balancing act. After, you're trying to figure out, or some people have found a good space where they're working their 9 to 5, and that's what they have to contribute to the most to make sure that they have a place to stay.
Hang on, can I interrupt? I'm so sorry. Wait a minute, Shade Dragon, is this a joke? Like, that I don't, because I'm only asking because not for a second have I thought about there are no tariffs on foreign patronage, but you had to make me pause and think to ask why you mess with me like that because I got a lot of internet patrons. But go ahead.
But no, that's just, and then there's tariffs right now. Look, there's so much going on in the world.
But a change about to come.
But a change is
Hallelujah.
gonna come. Look, a change is coming. I think the positive aspect, that us being positive also allows us to move forward, but it also, I think, we have a different way of seeing things now because of what we went through. When the scales have fell from your eyes, I think that is when you can see all people, even people that you thought were on your side, in your corner. You can actually hear what they're trying to say. It's almost like they're talking and you can.
That's funny.
What?
I'm mixing
Oh.
up Patreon and Patron.
Oh,
I'm mixing patron with Patron.
Ben's accent, actually, is this country accent. Patron.
Yeah. Patron.
It's Patron.
Well, no. I'm talking patron as in become a patron of the show.
No, I know. You didn't pick
Patron.
up that it was. That's what I was looking. I was like, I don't think they're talking about that, Ben. I think they're talking about drinks.
Well, Mike, I'm like, listen, I don't need no patrons to cancel though, so I had to make sure.
You're like, patron, stay right where you at, baby.
Yeah, no, but the tariffs are not. Remember, we used to be in these spaces and be shamed to talk about, hey, y'all, we in trouble. We need some financial help. Could you send us? We used to be so shamed of being working class. And now it's like, look, You cannot cancel your patronage this month. Come on now. No.
Listen, please stays with me. So that,
Come on,
like
just
your patron and Patron, your patron allows me to go get a shot of Patron. Also to pay the bills, please.
that's okay. Hey, I'm sorry. All right, so I'm gonna do this though. You know what? I can certainly do this. Why not put it out here? Let's do some for everyone who's curious and interested. No, 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 no. Let me do it in measure.
You gonna put it
Let me
behind?
let me do it properly, in decency and in order. Our people are here. Okay. Hey, Rebecca, I don't know if I got to step away for a second. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be right back.
Okay, no problem. So, while Ben steps away for a second, y'all, I'll go ahead and start reading some of the um people who have given on a super chat, also people who are on the who also gave through Cash App. I appreciate you, I really do. But before I do that, I know that we started the show up unintentionally in the story of my, no longer working or being let go from my latest corporate job, child, and I was doing everything I was trying to do. That's the thing about it. I was doing everything in line, keeping my head down, and they still found a way to tell me that my work, and because I believe because I challenged them about their deceptive business practices, but they said it was because my work in politics. But I said it to say, I thank you guys for holding it down in this space. Just like I said in that open letter, which I'll probably post so y'all have it on my page. But I am grateful to each and every one of you. If you've never given a thing, but you've watched my show, you've shared it, you've pushed it. Right now, I think I'm at as far as subscribers on the page. I remember when I was just at 100 a year ago. I'm at 8,725. And I want to get to 10,000, and I believe that I can do that. But either way, I just want to take a moment to thank you guys for rocking with me all of these years, from the highs to the lows to the in-betweens, to the partnerships, to no partnerships. I really, really, really thank you guys. And because of you guys understanding the cause and knowing that we are here to do more than pander, knowing that we're also here to make you laugh, knowing that we're here to express the real portions of it, which is our lived experiences. Because while we are professionals in ways where Ben has always been an analyst, he's also an educator. While I have actual background in journalism, digital journalism, and broadcast, these things are not only would help us do the work in a professional way, but also us just getting with y'all every day like you guys are friends and families for years and years, white, black, in between, all across the country. I have people who reach out about people who are in Australia, people who are in the Middle East, people all over. Everybody who watches, I just want to take a moment and say thank you. Thank you for riding with us. Thank you for rocking with me and supporting me. And just stay tuned. Again, I said because of you guys, it ain't gonna be perfect, but it will be get there. I have a problem with the consistency right now because of all the things I'm trying to figure out how to do it where it makes sense, especially right now. But the work isn't gonna stop. As I said in the beginning of the commercial that we do for this, the work doesn't stop. And we do this. It's for us and it's by us, with a hint of white, our producer. And we want to make sure we, in the next 4 years, don't let you down. And we continue to encourage you at the same time, because there's going to be a lot of misinformation, as there has been in the past, but even right now, by people who are supposed to be on our side of things, misinformation or purposely leaving out information because they don't want to cover something at the expense of their platform, job, whatever. So, yeah, I said to say thank you. So let's go and do some super chats. And Ben will get here soon. Hopefully. I don't know where he went because he gonna have to end this live. But let's go through some super chats. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna pull that up, as the kids have shown me how to do it. Now I don't know on the Ben may have some on his end, but I don't know. Let's see, because I feel like an old lady right now trying to pull them up. And chat filter. Here we go. Fan funding. We're going to super chats first, and then I'll go down the line on the cash apps. I thank you guys. Charlie, I appreciate you. I've seen your name a few times on the super chats, and I really appreciate it. Charlie, thank you so much. Sorry for missing a show or two. New job schedule has taken some adjustment. Hope you are all well. 484. Ben, are you here? Because you
Yeah, I'm
are.
back now. I'm back now.
Oh, okay.
Okay, what? No, you reading the super chats?
I'm reading some of the super chats. Yes, that
Okay,
I
I'll
think.
go in order with you. Which one are you
Okay,
on?
all right. I'm on Charlie. The first one from Charlie. Well, that's the third one from Charlie because Charlie gave
Oh,
about
no.
3 times.
Okay.
5.
Just
But
start reading and I'll match what you're
okay.
reading.
Tip your hostess, please. That's by Charlie again. Thank you. Tip your hostess, please. Becca's voice on Cash App. I appreciate that. Also, Charlie says, my last job was a MAGA hellhole. Trump supporters in the shop, evangelical flat earthers in the office, had to hide in the closet the whole time, even in a blue state. May you get your bag, ma'am. Thank you so much. And I am going for that bag. I'm unioned up, Creflo, not dollar. But thank you for your dollars.
Creflo
Creflo
$5.
says, Creflo $5. Creflo says, I'm unioned up. I dare management to try to fire for not being a MAGA hog. UFCW representing and never repenting. I like that. But I really want to look into places where people get unioned up, especially me, if I decide to go back anywhere. But I had my friend used to work where she was a union director, and she would go into these different jobs and help people out as well. So I definitely understand the benefit of being unioned up. So shouts out to you, Creflo, and thank you, Omega Star. Our elected officials are tools in our belt. They can be useful to us, even if they let us down. That's true. I agree with that. Honestly, I know it sounds crazy, but if we sit here and just try to pick apart and say they're not useful, but they're the ones they're the ones sitting there. It's not beneficial to us to do that. We know they all got blood and on their hands, but if we push them enough, some change can happen that can be beneficial for us in the next few years. You agree? And then Charlie, once again, change is coming, and so are them dollars. Make it rain.
Yeah.
And let me read some of these cash apps, Ben. I know that you got some as well as far as the super chats on your end because I can't see the main
Okay,
one.
gotcha.
But I'll read these cash apps. Thank you, Charles. Or no, that's you, Charlie. You're on. I think that's you, Charlie, on there. I want to say that. But Charlie, thank you. And I apologize for saying that name. I'm not sure that you still go by that. But thank you, Charlie. Hope you're doing well, ma'am. And I am. Denise, and mind you, I'm just reading the names on here, so forgive me because I don't want to read names that you no longer go by or whatever. But Denise, thank you. There's a Charles here, Charles M. Thank you, Omega Star, as always. Mwah. And Donyette, I love your name, and especially because you got me together on how to pronounce it. Donyette, thank you. NJL, thank you. Because that's the name on there, NJL. They made sure you don't even say my name. Don't even say it. JJ, love you. Mwah. Mean it, which is Young Black Economist on YouTube. I see you all the time in the space, but I will find you and follow. Thank you. Thank you. I thank you. I really appreciate it.
All right. Let me read the ones. This one's for you, Rebecca. So I guess I'm gonna have to find a way to get this to you. I guess I
They
cash
never
app
come
you
to me,
some
but
way.
we'll use them to pay for the
For the system. Yeah,
programming.
we'll get it to you somehow. Sorry to hear about you losing your income. I don't do Cash App, but here's a little change. So don't do nothing strange.
Oh, get a little
Here
patron.
we go. Forward 8484. You're a doll, but keep the good work. We have to unite against this ish. Very nice, very cool. And then Tiger, thank you, Tiger, for this. Said notes from today's show: make the MAGA tax a staple of the show, and keep a burner phone filled with wild pics in case we get stopped by the law.
What?
Duly noted. Thank you. Thank you for everyone who's sending these cash apps and all these gifts, etc., etc., etc. I do show myself, Tony. I was just grinding this morning. I've been up grinding since 5 o'clock, so I didn't have time to shave my head. I look like George Jefferson and George Washington at the same
hair
time.
grow in like that?
Well, I've been grinding. Like when I get in this, Rebecca, you should have seen me at my lowest. When I was just working and not saying anything to the world. Oh my goodness, I look like Wolfgang Puck minus the hair. Anyway, but thanks everybody for supporting the show. Rebecca, anything else? What you got?
Oh, somebody gave as well. King Jill, what's your Venmo? Keep working on your show. Don't stop. We need your voice and big heart in this world. I don't have Venmo. I'm sorry. I do have PayPal, Rebecca Azor at gmail.com. Somebody did send an email, and I want to tell you that I seen the email, and that was by Close 22 sent an email and got your email, and I will be checking it out and writing you back. It's to all, I guess, DJ exclusive as well, all of us, and it's about some merch, and so definitely want to. Here you go, Rebecca, bless your heart.
Sent that to your channel.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you,
Nice,
Snack
nice.
Panther. But thank you, King Jill, for yours as well. Everybody, I appreciate it. I can't thank you and love on you enough. Since I got the time, I've already recorded some stuff that should be dropping ASAP, probably this weekend or at the beginning of this week. But just know I'll either have daily drops. Good Shades of Good News is coming back, but it's going to come back in the form of shorts. I have some really great content coming
Good
out there
idea.
like that. Yeah. So please stay with me. Like, again, I'm getting through this thing. I'm finding a way. I even got Olay, who has rebranded the page in my favorite color, yellow. So all you guys that are giving it a lot of praise, Olay did that. She definitely did that. So for me.
Love it.
So yeah. Ben, any last words before you get up out of here?
You know what? I just want to say again, every one of you who are on the show today with us in the audience, I know you don't know what I'm talking about yet. And I know y'all been listening, waiting for me to do this. I've been talking about this so long. My son was like, Dad, you said you were done with your work a year ago. Are you still Jeremiah now, not Benjamin, Jeremiah. So I've been working on this a long time, but I want to say to everybody in the audience right now, you were with us live when I literally put the final touches on my work for 7 years that I'm getting ready to drop. As soon as I get some guidance on the best way to drop it, but because it's such a critical time, I'm thinking I'm gonna drop this thing sometime this weekend, tomorrow, because that should help me keep from having to go and do some Donald Trump videos. But that's all I got. Love all of y'all. Mean it, Rebecca. Here's the bigger and better things. Like we going on. We going on. See what the end gonna be.
No, it's gonna be good. This time around is different. When we used to talk about this during the pandemic, because the pandemic is still really a thing, but we don't call it pandemic no more. People still out here with COVID, but we don't call that no more. But at the beginning of when the world shut down during the pandemic, we used to be like, I can't take it no more, but we gonna get through this. We gonna be strong. Some days it was like, we just gotta fight. We just gonna fight. And then some days it was like, I can't fight no more. I don't want to fight. I give up. Life is hard. And I'm not there anymore. I'm just like, you know what? There's work to be done. I got the time to do it, but just give us a little bit of grace, because your grace allowed Ben to do what he did and finish and complete on today while he was doing the show. So
literally couldn't have done it without the patrons. You all fed my children.
Absolutely.
And I didn't have any other stream to feed.
Okay. No, it is because of y'all. So please, because they appreciate even the work before, because some of that stuff is evergreen and they remember Ben once said this, Ben once did that. That's how powerful the impact should always be. And that's why I say it should be more than pandering to people, because the work does speak for itself.
For sure. For sure. Becca,
all right.
It's been a pleasure. I look forward to more.
All right. I'll see you soon. You guys, love you, mean it. Enjoy the rest of your day, Ben. I don't know how you going to exit this. I know it gets a little crazy.
No, I think it's set up properly. I got a button. I got one button to push, and we out.
Play that button. Work that we're doing here is not going to stop when it comes to these type of discussions. It's going to be for us and by us here on this platform when the media is telling us to look the other way. Your support is what helps us move forward. Join patreon.com/like it or not. Help us grow.
Like it or not, y'all. Y'all know what time it is. It's time for like it or not. Rebecca Azor. Let's start this damn show. Yes, it's time for like it or not. Rebecca Azor. Let's start this damn show like it or not. Rebecca Azor is in the house. You know she got a funny story to tell. Talking politics, culture, or real life ish. I live in life in the ATL. Benjamin.